It's really important that you watch this video all the way to the end, because today we are talking about AEW and their possible risk being with Discovery, and whether or not they could be losing a TV deal, and all of these different things. I'm going to provide my insights, but also I'm going to show you guys my screen in just a moment. And when I show you guys my screen, you guys will see the exact article that I'm referencing. It's a very, very good article. Also, we are going to talk about Kenny Omega's return, which is exciting. And we got to talk about AAA, Triplemania on April 30th, because now a top guy is not going to be on the show. And by the way, you guys already know, if you guys want more videos like this, just go ahead and show me some love. And if you guys appreciate being updated 7 days a week, YouTube now has a new feature called Super Thanks. It's kind of like a super chat, but since I'm not live, you could just click Super Thanks and basically leave a tip. If you guys choose to do that, any person who leaves a Super Thanks with a question, I'll actually answer it on my next video. It's just something to consider. Alberto Del Rio is reportedly no longer being booked for AAA Triplemania. Now, this was a very interesting story that went out from Emily Pratt of Fanbyte. There was talks of Alberto El Patron teaming up with Laredo Kid. And honestly, you know, here's the thing. This is the idea of Del Rio or El Patron, whatever. You know, obviously there's legal stuff that people are aware of. You guys know all the controversy surrounding Alberto Del Rio. Now, I want to keep my opinion on this matter wrestling related, because people ask me, they're like, why don't you like Del Rio? Well, I didn't think Del Rio was good in WWE. I thought maybe him going to Impact would have led to something great, but that also was not the case. There is a lot of reasons from a wrestling perspective as to why I genuinely don't like Del Rio. I don't think he's entertaining. I don't think he's ever really done anything to impress me. I think he got lucky with the way WWE booked him. But also at the same time, too, I think Del Rio being booked for AAA and then being pulled from AAA is very interesting, because there's really not a lot of details as to why he's not being booked anymore. But with AAA obviously trying to make a big deal out of Triplemania, it appears to me that Del Rio not being booked might be a good thing, honestly. I think it is best that AAA stays away from any sort of controversies. They're doing their own thing. From what I see, it looks like they're doing pretty damn well. And, you know, Del Rio in general, like, I just don't know. Like, again, I don't know if there's any value to him being on any of these wrestling shows. Not to mention, there was talks before, we talked about it, of him going to AEW and WWE. And I just feel like a lot of those things are done for attention. It's not something I necessarily enjoy. And for that reason, I'm not interested. Guys, I want to talk about Kenny Omega on his return. Obviously, a lot of people are excited about this. I am a huge Kenny Omega fan. I think AEW's product is better with Kenny Omega. I also think right now, Adam Cole and the Undisputed Elite having a storyline with Kenny Omega returning could be really massive. But this is what Kenny Omega has been up to lately. And I just want to show you guys these tweets. He hasn't been too active on Twitter, but let's take a look. Will Ospreay obviously promoting the flyer for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship belt. The match that he has against Tanahashi. Will Ospreay tweets out, "This match will be very special. I will be paying homage to a wrestler that largely impacted my career to show my appreciation for his contribution and sacrifice. As long as the referees don't screw me, this win will make me the ultimate Grand Slam champ." Kenny Omega says, "You're making it way too obvious, but thanks, I guess." Now, for those who are unaware of what is happening here with Kenny Omega, there is talks that Kenny Omega could very well be ready to return very soon. Now, if you also look at some of the other tweets that Kenny Omega has had on his channel or on his Twitter, some of the things that he has mentioned is, and we could actually just click on it. It's not really that big of a deal. But if you go to his tweets and replies, Will Ospreay responded back with, you going to be all right for June. And Kenny Omega says, we'll see. So this is not only fantastic if we get Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. Obviously, I think this makes more sense for the Japanese show, the Japanese AEW, NJPW collaboration. But also, what's really, really interesting is right here. Christian Schiller on Twitter says, it's going to be great when Kenny Omega misses half a year and still wins Wrestler of the Year. Kenny Omega says the bar is shockingly low in 2022. I could show up in December and still win via landslide. So for those who are interested in the return of Kenny Omega, I would say get excited about this, but there is nothing concrete. And of course, with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, I think that is definitely a match to make. And I also want to throw this out there. Maybe you guys agree, maybe you don't agree. But I think Jay White versus Kenny Omega, to me, seems like a very, very special match, especially because of the parallels between their careers and Japan. I would love to see something there, but I think AEW needs Kenny Omega, so the sooner the better. I think with Kenny Omega being on AEW television, the product is a lot better, and I want to know what you guys think about that. Now, with that being said, guys, I do want to turn our topic, turn to the main event of the video, and that is AEW at risk of losing this TV deal? Now, the reason why I'm discussing this is because there was some exclusive that went out from Jennifer Moss from Variety. Actually, let's just take a look at it. Warner Bros. And Discovery, right, the new merger, cuts scripted programming development at TBS TNT. Now, obviously, this is drawing a big reaction from wrestling fans. Obviously, your Twitter users that really support WWE are going after AEW, and then AEW people are defending it. I think all of that is ridiculous. I really do. I sincerely believe it is ridiculous. The idea that somebody would want AEW to die or to lose their TV deal. But if you guys go to this article, and I'll put the link in the description for you guys, TNT and TBS are pausing their scripted game under new parent company Warner Bros. Discovery, which CEO David Zaslav has promised will find $3 billion in cost savings across the new company in the post-merger era. That is insane. So there are cost-cutting measurements. Now, obviously, the reason why cost-cutting measurements might be happening here is because, well, we want to make money, profit, right? It's a business. At the end of the day, no matter what, Tony Khan and Vince McMahon, they love their fans, but you know what? They love business too, right? So just like the CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, he's got to look at cutting $3 billion in cost savings. And this is obviously leading to a bunch of conversation as to whether or not AEW is at risk. Now, with that being said, you guys can read this article. You can see what shows are being taken off. American Dad, it's being kept, but like you'll see like other shows are being removed. You'll see what shows are being kept, that type of thing. But when it really comes down to the scripted shows that they have, you know, they're looking at a change, and I think the change is actually a good change. I could be wrong, but if I'm making a prediction, I would say that the change that people should be expecting is that Discovery could very well be actually going more involved with pro wrestling and sports, because I think from a TV rights standpoint, it is not only easier and less expensive, but it is probably better financially to do live sports versus scripted content that is far riskier. And what I mean by that is AEW is constantly pulling in a consistent amount of viewership. It doesn't mean they're growing. I can't speak to you about profit. I don't know what their CPMs are or whatever. I don't know how they're getting paid from advertisers, good ads, bad ads, things like that. But what I do know is that they have consistent viewership. And I think that is far less riskier investing in a product like that versus a scripted show that is entirely new with a cast that may not be as recognized. So a lot of people think AEW is at risk of losing the TV deal because of this news, but I actually think it's the opposite. Now, I could very well be wrong, but I'm just looking at it from a different perspective than most people. I don't have a bias in terms of wanting AEW or WWE to die. I want them to both do well, and I think by looking at this news, I think everybody will kind of be able to form their own opinion. But with that being said, I do want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.